so glad to be here. Very special thanks to Ms. Singleton for allowing me to come in today, fit me in the schedule. And I'm grateful because as you guys are about to make this transition, right? You're about to graduate. I love being able to come back and just share with you these stories again, you know? And you know, one of the favorite stories is this story told by the speaker T.D. Jakes about a little boy out in the Midwest who wanted to see an eagle fly. But first, before we get into it, I can't forget this. Let's set up a system in which you can give constant feedback throughout this presentation. Let's do this. Whenever I say holler if you hear me, if at that moment you're understanding and agreeing with what I'm saying, then please yell back at me. Something like yes, or yeah, or holler, or anything that makes a lot of energy and enthusiasm. I love it. Holler if you hear me. I love it. A little boy wanted to see an eagle fly. So he gets a pair of binoculars and he goes out to a large open field and he's watching and finally he spots an eagle. And the eagle is flying higher and higher and higher. Then all of a sudden the eagle stops in midair and it begins to fall and flap and fall and flap and fall and flap. Finally it disappears out of sight. The little boy says to himself, what happened to the eagle? Did someone shoot the eagle? I didn't hear a gun. And the little boy walks for about a mile in order to find where the eagle had landed. And finally he found the eagle. The eagle is laid down, nose in the dirt. The eagle is dead. And the little boy says to himself, what killed the eagle? Little boy turns the eagle over, and there, affixed to the eagle's chest, is a weasel, a little animal. And the weasel has bitten into the heart of the eagle. And the little boy says to himself, what happened to the eagle? And the little boy says to himself, now I see what happened. The eagle had picked up a weasel and did not let it go. And that's very symbolic to our lives. Because every single day of our lives, we all pick up weasels. And weasels come in many different forms. They're weasels in the form of negative thoughts, weasels in the form of bad habits, weasels in the form of frustration and anger and insecurity. We all pick up weasels, and if we don't drop the weasels will drop us. Holler if you hear me. Drop the weasels. Let go of the weasels. Let go of things that are trying to eat at you. Let go of things that are trying to separate you from your source of peace and joy. Let them go, because either you drop them or they will. Yes. And so I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I'm so excited because in this presentation, this is all about learning how to drop the weasels so that we can fly like an eagle. And so, whenever you hear a quote that you like, please either write it down or maybe put it in your phone, you know. I'd love for you to write down or put in your phone your favorite quotes as we go through this presentation. Now I want to share with you something very personal. And I used to be very embarrassed about this, but no longer am I embarrassed about it, so I want to share it with you. You see, although I am a professional, I graduated from college with a degree in accounting and became a CPA, right? Although I am a professional, I'm still in the process of overcoming reading challenges. I had severe reading problems when I was growing up. And although things have improved, I'm still in the process of overcoming those reading challenges. But I'm not embarrassed to admit it, because I realize that in order to overcome a problem, we must embrace the struggle. Holler if you hear me. It's okay, because I realize now that other people's opinions of me do not have to become my reality. Human being always stays the same regardless of how other people treat me. To really make this point clear, you remember this? To really make this point clear, how much is this worth? $3. $1. $1. But what if I take this dollar bill and crumble it up and throw it on the floor and stamp on it? bill, its value stayed the same. I crumpled it up, threw it on the floor, stomped on it, put dirt on it, but yet its value stayed the same. And the same thing goes with you, me, and all of the human beings. Regardless of how other people treat us, regardless of what other people think about us, or say about us, or do to us, regardless of whatever happens in our lives, our value stays the same. Our value is something that the world did not give to us, and so therefore it's something that the world cannot take away. Holler if you hear me. It's amazing how just by changing our perspective, our whole life changes. Even a small shift in our perspective makes a huge change in our life. To really make this point clear, let's do this group activity. You remember this? Everybody, take your right index finger, put it straight up above your head, Now, look up at the ceiling and imagine that on the ceiling there's a clock face. Now, rotate your finger in a clockwise motion. Go clockwise motion. Now, continue that same motion, but now bring your arm down, all the way down, so it's below your chin. So you're looking down at your finger. And realize now, you're no longer going clockwise. You're now going counterclockwise, aren't you? Let's try that again. Clockwise motion. But you bring it down and it's counterclockwise. So somebody tell me, our finger did not change. The motion of our finger did not change. What was the only thing that changed? Our perspective. So here's the message, here's the lesson, here's the point. Whenever you're feeling sad about anything. Now, when I say sad, I don't mean like extreme cases of depression. It's like a medical situation. I just mean like everyday sadness. Whenever you are feeling sad about anything, always ask yourself, what else can this mean? What else can this mean? What's another perspective in which I can view this situation? What's another way in which I can look at this circumstance? What else can this mean? I guarantee you, asking yourself that question is a very useful tool that can help us to rise above sadness. It's a very useful tool that can help us to manage our emotions. Whenever you are feeling sad about anything, always ask yourself, what else can this mean? Is this the end? Or is this the beginning? It's all a matter of perspective. Am I being punished? Or am I being rewarded? It's all a matter of perspective. Is this a problem? Or is this a personal development exercise that is designed to prepare me to achieve my purpose and my destiny in life? It's all a matter of perspective. Holler if you hear me. Personal development exercises that are designed to prepare us to achieve our purpose and our destiny in life. You know, as I think back over my childhood, I realize that in a way, I'm grateful for my bullies because they strengthened me and prepared me to achieve my purpose and my destiny in life. The emotional abuse that they put me through was really a gift. It tore me down for a moment, but over time, it raised me up like gold. To really make this clear, let me share with you this story. It's a story about a water carrier who had two large pots. Each hung on the ends of a pole which he carried across his neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, while the other pot was perfect. Each day, at the end of the long walk from the water stream back to the house, the perfect pot always delivered a full portion of water. But the broken pot always delivered only half a pot of water, because the other half of its water would always leak out through the crack that was in its side, all the way back to the house. And this continued on for years. And of course, the perfect pot felt proud of itself, felt like a high achiever. It felt successful, had very high self-esteem, it felt good about itself. But the broken pot felt ashamed of itself and felt miserable. And one day by the water stream, the broken pot spoke out to the water carrier and said, I'm ashamed of myself because this crack in my side, it causes water to leak out all the way back to your house. I'm no good, I'm inferior, I've been broken. I've been broken by some things that have happened to me in the past. I've been through some bad experiences that have hurt me so much, and now I have all these insecurities, I have all these issues that are holding me down and holding me back, and I'll never be able to succeed. I'm sick, and I'll never be made well, so you should just destroy me because my life has no meaning and no purpose. But then, the water carrier responded to the broken pot and said, did you notice that there were flowers only along your side of the path and not along the other pot's side? And I planted flower seeds all along your side of the path, and each day as we walk back from the water stream, the water that leaks out through the crack in your side waters these flowers. And for years now, I've been able to pick these beautiful flowers to make the world a more beautiful place. If it was not for your flaws and your brokenness, there would not be this beauty to grace the world. I love that story because it's a reminder to me that even the cracks in our lives are there for a reason. Even the cracks in our lives, even the flaws, the imperfections, the challenges, the struggles, the obstacles, the insecurities, even the cracks in our lives are there for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Although often we don't understand what that reason is as we're going through the process. But one day we will be able to look back and clearly understand that it was all part of a beautiful plan. One day we will be able to look back and see the bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture. Everything that goes on in our lives is all part of a bigger picture. But one of the most challenging things about life is that often we can't see the picture because we're standing in the frame. Because we're standing in the frame. But one day we will be able to look back and clearly see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is a beautiful picture. To really make this point clear, let me share with you another story. It's a story about a store owner who put a large sign on top of the front door of his store. And the sign read, "Puppies for sale." And almost immediately, a little boy comes into the store full of enthusiasm and asks, "How much are the puppies?" And the store owner said anywhere between $30 to $50 per puppy. The little boy dug deep into his pocket and he pulled out $1.37. And he said, all I have is $1.37, but can I see the puppies? Store owner smiled and then whistled. And out from the kennel came a group of puppies running down the aisle of the store. But there was one puppy that was lagging behind all the others because it was limping. It was limping along. And the little boy saw that puppy that was limping and asked, "What's wrong with that puppy?" The store owner explained how the veterinarian had examined that puppy and had discovered that that puppy was missing a hip socket. So it would always be lame. It would always limp. And the little boy got excited and said, "That's the puppy that I want to buy." Store owner said, "No, you don't want to buy that puppy. That puppy limps. That puppy has issues. In fact, I plan to just give away that puppy for free because that puppy does not have value." The little boy got upset. The little boy got upset and said, "That puppy is as valuable as all the other puppies. And I will pay you $1.37 now, and I'll pay you 50 cents each week until that puppy is fully paid for." But again, the store owner expressed concern and said, "Look, I really don't think you're going to enjoy that puppy. because that puppy can't run, and it can't jump, and it can't play with you like the other puppies can. And then at that moment, the little boy bent down and picked up his left hand leg, and he showed the store owner his left leg, which was crippled and twisted and held together by a metal rod. And he says to the store owner, I can't run well myself either. And that puppy needs someone who can understand. I love that story because it's a reminder to us that imperfect is perfect. Imperfect is perfect. Our imperfections make us humble. Our imperfections make us relatable. Our imperfections make us compassionate. Our imperfections give us a unique ability to add a special value to the world. Imperfect is perfect. Our imperfections, our adversity is our advantage to comfort and inspire others who are going through similar situations. Imperfect is perfect. And this message, it really touches me deeply because I realize that I have to constantly remind myself of that concept that imperfect is perfect. Because there's certain issues in my life. I have certain social anxiety issues that tend to weigh me down. And I realize that I need to constantly remind myself that imperfect is perfect. I need to remind myself that it's okay. I have to remind myself that as long as I'm doing my best, I'm okay. I'm making progress. I have to remind myself that I don't have to wait until certain issues get resolved in order to feel happy and fulfilled. I can actually feel happy and fulfilled as I go through the process. I have to remind myself that there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Holler if you hear me. Happiness is the path. Imperfect is perfect. I can truly embrace and be happy about where I am right now, and at the same time, I can be fully motivated to improve where I am so that I can constantly become the best version of myself. In other words, we can love the life we have as we build the life we want. Holler if you hear me. We can love the life we have as we build the life we want. We don't have to wait until certain things get resolved in order to be happy. We can love the life we have as we build the life we want. Because there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Really, what it comes down to is always keeping in mind that everything happens for a reason. We are exactly where we need to be at every stage in our development. And so we can really enjoy the process. You know, quick story, there was a lady running late for work one morning, all because of her daughter taking too long to get ready for school. And I can imagine she was feeling very angry and frustrated at her daughter for making her late for work. But when she arrived at work that morning, she realized that on this particular morning, it was a very good thing that she arrived late to work. Because this morning was Tuesday morning, September the 11th, 2001, and this lady worked in the World Trade Center. If it had not been for her daughter who made her late for work, she would have been in the building when the planes hit. It's amazing how really our problems are really blessings in disguise. Hallelujah. Problems are blessings in disguise. So let's not complain about anything, because really our problems can bless our lives in ways that we don't even understand. Now let me share with you a very personal story that really illustrates this message. When I was in high school, for a while during my high school years, for a while I became very disappointed and heartbroken because there was this girl who I liked who did not like me back. And it really broke my heart. I felt as though she was my soulmate. I felt like we were made for each other. In fact, every time I would see her in the hallways, I would feel a little hypnotized. You know that feeling you get when you see someone that you have a crush on? It's like that high feeling. You know what I'm talking about? That high feeling. every time I'd see her in the hallways, I felt that high feeling. And that high feeling was so intense, the physical attraction was so strong, that I thought it was a sign that this was true love. And so when she rejected me, I felt as though my heart split in half. I became very disappointed. Also, I started to become very insecure. I started to wonder, why don't girls like me? What's wrong with me? Why am I so awkward? But an interesting thing happened. As time went by and as I grew older and more mature, I began to look back over that experience and I began to see something that I never saw previously. You see, it wasn't until later on in my life, as I was looking back over my teenage years, that I began to realize that when I was a teenager, I was very immature. And if I would have gotten into a relationship with that girl at that time, because of my immaturity, I would have ended up making some bad decisions. I would have ended up giving in to certain temptations. Because you see, this particular girl, she was involved with some very unhealthy things like drugs and alcohol. And I was aware of it, but I overlooked it. I was aware of it, but I overlooked it because I was so very physically attracted to her. I was so very physically attracted to her that I overlooked the fact that she had these unhealthy habits. I overlooked the fact that she would have had a very negative impact on my life. I overlooked it because I was so very infatuated with her. It's amazing how physical attraction clouds judgment. Holler if you hear me. Physical attraction clouds judgment. Have you noticed when you become very physically attracted to someone, your mindset can get a little cloudy. It's amazing. And it's tricky because you know how it is. It's like sometimes we can become so desperate for love that we become tempted to enter into toxic relationships. In other words, what I'm saying is this. In other words, sometimes we can become so thirsty that we get tempted to drink poison. Holler if you hear me. Sometimes we can become so thirsty that we get tempted to drink poison. So we have to be careful. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Because all of your life, the things that look good to us are not good for us. Even poison at times is wrapped in beautiful wrapping paper. So please always remember this. Do not follow your heart, lead your heart. Lead your heart. Because your heart at times will try to deceive you. Now, I'm saying, look, of course we need to always follow the purpose and the dreams that have been placed in our hearts. But let's not blindly follow our hearts, because there are times in life in which even our own heart will try to deceive us. In other words, what I'm saying is this: do not live your life based on your emotions. Live your life based on your principles, wise principles. Because your emotions are not steady. Your emotions are not reliable. Now, if you notice, in many situations, your emotions can get you into a lot of trouble. Holler if you hear me. Your emotions can get you into a lot of trouble. So do not live your life based on your emotions. Live your life based on your principles, wise principles. You know, over the years, I've come to realize that just because you become very physically attracted to someone doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good fit for you. Also, I've come to realize that a romantic relationship that is based solely on feelings will last only as long as the feelings last. There has to be a deeper connection. You know? It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, I think about how when I was in college, for a while during my college years, I worked a part-time job on campus at the Disability Support Center. And my job was to assist students who had physical disabilities. And one of the students I assisted was a girl who was blind. She was blind, and also she had like some mental issues. And I remember as I was getting to know her, I started to realize that she faced a lot of social rejection. And she faced a lot of social rejection. She had a very lonely life. And I can relate to that because I know what it's like to be rejected. I know what it's like to not fit in. So I really reached out to her and was like very, compassionate, and I tried to be very encouraging. And I remember it was November and Thanksgiving was coming up, and I realized that she didn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving. So I invited her to have Thanksgiving with my family, because on my mom's side of the family, we have a very big Thanksgiving dinner. And so she came and she felt loved by my family, and at the end of the night, she turned to me and she said something to me that I'll never forget. She said, "Lance, you are so beautiful." And those words really touched me because for so long I struggled with insecurities regarding my physical appearance because of an acne issue that I had, skin issue I had when I was in high school. And so for this girl, this blind girl, keep in mind she was blind, this blind girl, for this blind girl to call me beautiful, it showed me something very deep about life. It showed me that true beauty has nothing to do with our physical appearance. True beauty has everything to do with our kindness and our compassion. Beauty is what beauty does, right? Beauty is what beauty does. I know it sounds so cliche, but it's so very profound because that experience, it showed me that I can feel beautiful whenever I do beautiful things. I don't have to rely on other people to validate me. I don't have to depend on other people's opinions. I can feel beautiful whenever I do beautiful things. And I realize that it's dangerous to live for other people's approval. Because if you live for other people's approval, you will die by their rejection. Holler if you hear me. If you live for other people's approval, you will die by their rejection. I realize that I don't need to live for other people's approval. I realize that I can focus on giving the emotion that I want to feel. Because in that situation, I wasn't expecting anything from her. I was just sincerely trying to encourage her. And what was interesting is that the encouragement that I was giving to her came back to me multiplied. And it's amazing. It showed me a very deep principle of life. We rise by lifting others. Holler if you hear me. Right? We rise by lifting others. And so whenever we're feeling down, one of the fastest ways to rise is to reach out and try to encourage others. Because it's amazing how even when we're feeling sad, even when we're feeling down, if we can just take our eyes off of ourselves and try to encourage other people, more encouragement comes into our lives. It's amazing how we rise by lifting others. The secret to living is giving. You know, when I was growing up, I tried to play various sports. Basketball, football, track. And I was terrible at all of them. And although many of the spectators would look down on me and or feel sorry for me, I never felt embarrassed or ashamed. Because among all the spectators, there was one spectator, my dad, who was always in the stands watching and sincerely happy to see that I was doing my best. You see, over and over and over again, Dad taught me the concept that as long as you have done your best, then you have won. And so, despite the lack of sincere encouragement from team members and other spectators, I remain encouraged and inspired and motivated to keep getting on the playing field and doing my best. You see, Dad instilled within me an unshakable courage to try. And that courage to try has helped me to go much further than I ever thought I could go. I was labeled a slow learner when I was in school, but yet I kept studying and I became a professional. I was picked on by bullies, but I kept feeding my faith, and over time, those experiences started to build me up rather than tear me down. I was considered to be ugly because of the acne issue I had when I was a teenager. I was considered to be ugly, but I kept admiring my inner beauty. I kept appreciating my inner beauty. And over time, I began to realize that it really doesn't matter what other people call you. What really matters is what you call yourself. What other people think about you is not important. But what you think about yourself means everything. Because think about this. Think about this. Technically, other people's words can never harm you. Technically, other people's words can never harm you. But it's your own words that can kill you. Holler, do you hear me? Other people's words can never harm you. But it's your own words that can kill you. So really, it's your own words, your own thoughts that you have to really guard and protect. It's your own words, your own thoughts that you have to really watch out for. Because other people's words, other people's thoughts can never harm you. But it's your own words, your own thoughts that can kill you. You know, there's an old African saying that goes, if there is no enemy on the inside, then the enemies on the outside cannot harm you. I love that. If there is no enemy on the inside, then the enemies on the outside cannot harm you. So therefore, as long as we maintain positive, healthy emotions on the inside, then the negativity that surrounds us cannot touch us. Holler if you hear me. So I know that Dad's legacy will always be in my heart. And wherever I go, wherever I am, I know that Dad is always in the stands. And Dad's legacy is very similar to a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out how the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows at the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst at least fails while daring greatly, so that he shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." I love that quote. I love that quote because it's a reminder to me that my victory's already been won. I'm already successful. I became successful the moment that I decided to get into the arena and do my best. Like Rocky Balboa said in the movie Rocky, I just want to go the distance. And if you remember, in Rocky Part 1, Rocky did not win, but he went the distance. And he proved that real success is not about winning. Real success is about having the courage to try. Having the courage to get on the playing field. Having the courage to step outside of your comfort zone. Because really, the walls of our comfort zone, they make us feel safe, but really those same walls are separating us from our dream. In order to achieve our dream in life, we must have the courage to step outside of our comfort zone. Let's never be afraid of failure. Because really, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the pathway to success. Holler if you hear me. And have you noticed, the people who achieve the most in life, the people who achieve the most in life are not necessarily those who are the most gifted and talented, but rather the people who achieve the most in life are those who are not afraid to fail. They're not afraid to fall. They're not afraid to look silly because they realize that by failing and falling and looking silly, it's all part of the pathway to success. Holler if you hear me. Yes. To really make this point clear, let me share with you this song. Check out this song. Check out this song.
Oh, he's playing. Follow my account.
Michael Jordan once said, "I failed over and over and over again, and that is why I have succeeded." I love that quote because I realized what I learned in my valleys helps me get to my mountaintops. In fact, I wouldn't be at this mountaintop if I didn't have my valleys. Yes, I wasn't popular at all when I was in school. It was hard walking down the hall. I felt like a fool. Kids can be so cool when somebody's different. The guys call me names and the girls stay distant. I had a low stomach and I didn't learn fast. Butterflies in my stomach every day in class. I felt bad because I had love inside. But nobody took the time to ever know I was a nice guy. All the name calling tore me down. But I didn't know then it would roll me down. What doesn't kill you, build you. Pound for pound, my endurance allows me to go round for round. I'm a heavyweight now. See the my team thought that I was a dork. I admit I wasn't good, but I tried my best. That's all that really matters, so I didn't stress. Because my dad was in the bleachers, cheering me on, so no bully in this world could ever do me harm. Even when the spectators were haters, I stayed strong. Had a real bond that helped me go on. When I messed up, I confess, I respect that. Everybody's gonna make mistakes, so expect that. It's all about learning from the trips and the stumbles. Never get discouraged, always stay humble. The only real losers never enter the arena. Criticize how you played with them in the game, you never see them. I just wanna do my best. And in my dad's eyes, wanting to race me because I know how to survive. Saw me fall down. You saw me fall down. That's right. That's right. You saw me fall down. You saw me fall down. But also you saw how I immediately got back up again. And get to the dancing. And that there is a very powerful illustration of a very profound life principle. In life, we all fall down from time to time. Because no one is perfect. As human beings, we each have our own unique set of flaws, imperfections, and weaknesses. In fact, have you noticed some of us have flaws that are more intense than others? Also, some of us have flaws that are more visible than others. But every single person has their own unique set of flaws, imperfections, and weaknesses. And therefore, we all fall down from time to time. We all fall down, but only the winners keep getting back up again. Holler if you hear me. That we can always start over again, no matter what has happened in the past. Of course, we do have to face the consequences of our behavior. And our behavior always has consequences. But it's never too late to start over again. It's never too late to press the reset button. You know that in life there is a reset button? Unfortunately, there is no rewind, there is no redo, but there is a reset button. And it's never too late to press the reset button and start completely over again. The winners are those that realize that the past does not equal the future. Our biography does not have to become our destiny. And so therefore we do not have to live in the past. In fact, it's very unhealthy to live in the past. Because if you live in the past, you die in the present. Holler if you hear me. If you're holding on to the baggage of the past, you'll never be able to fully embrace the present moment. We must let go of the baggage of the past, but always hold on to the lessons that we've learned from the past. And that's a very key point, because good judgment comes from experience, and experience often comes from bad judgment. So as long as we always learn from our mistakes, then even our mistakes become part of the process of our ultimate success. Holler if you hear me. So excited because this material is so real. Let go of the baggage of the past. Hold on to the lessons that you've learned and move forward. Move forward. Every time you fall, pick up only the lesson and move forward. This is so very important because in life, all of us have to become one of three things: a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean. If you place a potato into hot boiling water, the hot water will change the potato into becoming soft, right? If you place an egg into hot boiling water, the hot water will change the inside of the egg into becoming hard, right? But if you place a coffee bean into hot boiling water, the hot water will not change the coffee bean, but rather the coffee bean will change the hot water. So likewise, as we go through hot water in our lives, and as we go through problems and struggles and challenges and obstacles and insecurities and disappointments, as we go through hot water in our lives, we do not have to allow the hot water to change us us into something hard and angry, nor soft and weak, but rather we can change the hot water into opportunities to learn and grow stronger. Because every struggle, every challenge, every form of hot water is really an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. Because remember, our problems are just personal development exercises that are designed to prepare us to achieve our purpose and our destiny in life. Our problems are really blessings in disguise. You know, if I had to summarize this whole presentation into one sentence, it would be this: turn your problems into power by controlling the perspectives in which you view the situations of your life. If I had to summarize this whole program, it would be turn your problems into power by controlling the perspectives in which you view the situations of your life. Because it's never the situation that really impacts us. It's always our perspective of the situation, our interpretation. And so, if we can learn how to control our perspectives, then we can change the problems into power. Now, of course, these things are easier said than done. And that is why my next point is the most important point of all. Please always remember this. Always stay connected to the source of strength. Always take time to do things that will strengthen your values and your faith and your beliefs. Because connected to the source of strength, you will have the power to drop the weasels and fly like an eagle. Honor, you hear me? Yes. You guys been sitting down for a while? So everyone, please stand up and stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. Everybody stand. Everybody stand up. Stretch out towards the ceiling. Everybody stand up. Now lean to one side. Lean to the other side.
Don't say it.
Stretch up again. Everybody stand. Now put your arms down. Now roll your shoulders back. Roll your shoulders forward. Yes, now stay standing, stay standing. What we're talking about here today, everybody stand. What we're talking about here today is very important, right? We're talking about dropping the weasels, letting go of negativity. And that's very important because every single day of our life, we all have to deal with negative thoughts. In fact, research studies have shown that on average, around 60,000 thoughts come through our minds each and every day. 60,000 thoughts. That's a lot of thoughts. And of course, not all of those thoughts are positive and healthy thoughts. Tyler, you hear me? Right? Even if you are a very positive and healthy person, you have to admit that a portion of your thoughts are negative thoughts, unhealthy thoughts, weasels that we must drop. So every day, please remember to drop the weasels, because either you drop the weasels or the weasels will drop you. Yes. Drop the weasels. And the way that we drop the weasels is by focusing on the positive thoughts. Because where focus goes, energy flows. As we focus on the positive thoughts, we can fill our minds with positivity. And when our minds are filled with positivity, there's no room for negativity. Now, you know, in addition to maintaining good mental health, right, there's a lot of things that really influence our mental health, like our physical health, right? And one of my favorite forms of exercise is dance fitness. Zumba. Now, designed for you guys, a very easy to follow Zumba routine, dance fitness routine we can do together. Everybody participate, everybody stand, but we need to have at least 20 volunteers to come up on stage. Come up on stage. We just need about 20 to come up on stage. Yes. Side to side. Several years ago, in the Seattle Special Olympics, 9 mentally and physically challenged runners gathered at the starting line of the 100-yard dash. When the gun went off, all of them started off running. One of them, a little boy, slipped, stumbled, and fell down and started crying. True story. When the other runners heard him crying, all of them, every one of them slowed down and then turned around and went back and picked him up, and then all 9 of them linked arms together and then walked towards the finish line together. True story. Imagine that there was not a dry eye in that crowd as they watched this group of children, this group of mentally and physically challenged kids. They watched them display the real true meaning of success, real true meaning of greatness. Real success, true greatness, it's not about winning a race. It's about helping others win along with you. The secret to living is giving. Holler if you hear me. Yes. And so, really excited as you guys make this transition, as you guys graduate. Really excited. Please always remember that the secret to living is giving, and always remember to drop the weasels and fly like an eagle. And I want to say very special thanks again to the administrators, to the school for allowing me to come in today, especially to your assistant principal, Ms. Singleton, for allowing me